See,
All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. This is going to be a special meeting first for the Pagosa Area Water and Sanitation District, October 9th, 2025. It's 4:30 on the dot. Start off with roll call. Director Hudson. Here. Director Jones. Here. Director Walsh. Here. Director Taugis.
Here.
All right, we got everybody here. Consideration of an executive session to discuss Running Iron Ranch mining and reclamation activity on the Running Iron Ranch in the current possession of the Running Iron Ranch by the Webbers or entities owned and controlled by the Webbers pursuant to CRS section 24-6402-4B for the purpose of receiving legal counsel on specific legal questions for the district's general counsel and CRS section 24-6402-4EI to determine positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiators and instructing negotiators, and B, the district manager position, the finalists for the district manager position, and a potential offer for the district manager position pursuant to CRS section 24-6402-4FI, which concerns personnel matters, CRS section 24-6402-4B, for purpose of receiving legal advice on specific questions for the district general counsel, and CRS section 24-6402-4EI to determine positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators.
Just so you know, before you guys vote, Marcus was unable to attend, so we don't have it.
Okay, so we're just
not
gonna,
getting any legal advice from you.
just gonna do some discussing then.
yeah, and he doesn't have an update on Running Iron Ranch. I think we've kept everyone in the loop with regards to the 929 directives of Justin going to the ranch, Justin taking pictures, Justin talking to Andy, all of that happened, and he reported back. The cease and desist went out on September 30th. Justin has also since been in contact with,
They received it.
yeah, with,
The state.
A&M, and the state also came down, and met with A&M Construction, which is the Weber's company, and, Justin, and there was a representative from San Juan there as well. But we do, we can have an executive session if you'd like still. Marcus just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that, or should know that, the terms or the boundaries for which you would like to set, if you wish to do so, for the negotiators to go back to whichever candidate to start to begin negotiating an employment contract. Those should be discussed in executive session. That's his preference.
The cost, is it a wages or?
Yeah.
What's the maximum? Yeah, that makes sense. Salary, potential moving expenses.
Mhm.
Okay.
All those things.
Looking for a motion then?
Well, I mean, we're not gonna get legal advice. Do we wanna reread the motion since we're not gonna get legal advice?
You want to just go into executive session and read part B?
Okay, so we're gonna go into executive session for the district manager position, the finalist for the district manager position, and a potential offer for the district manager position pursuant to CRS section 24-6402-4FI, which concerns personnel matters, and CRS section 24-6402-4B for the purpose of receiving legal advice, or no legal advice, I'm sorry, we're not gonna do that part. And to determine positions relative to, that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategies for negotiators and instructing negotiators.
Pursuant to CRS section 24-6-402,
Right.
4C.
I'll second that.
Well, that, you made that motion.
No, he just read it.
I just read it.
We have to make a motion.
Glenn's gonna make that motion.
Well, I think that we do enter into executive session for the specific purpose of directing negotiators for the potential offer for our district manager.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Gene, are you still on?
I think we lost him.
I think that their phone froze and. Away. No, you. Oh, there he is, he's back. Oh, give a thumbs up.
Did you hear what we had to say, Gene?
No. That's a shake of the head, no. I think you're
muted.
You're muted, right?
Gee.
Can you say it again, please?
Yeah, so we were gonna go into executive session to discuss personnel matters and strategies for negotiations and instructing negotiators.
Yes, I.
Or jump in.
I can do that now.
Can I get a motion to adjourn this special meeting?
I was just gonna note that we, out of executive sessions, no decisions were made, but
Thank you.
negotiators were given instructions. Now I'll move to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Oh, first meeting second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I.
Alright. So we'll, I guess, give everybody 3 minutes to come in before we start this meeting. Sure. So we're gonna call this meeting to order. Gavel there. This is gonna be a regular meeting of the Ghost Area Water and Sanitation District. It is 5 PM on October 9th. We're gonna do roll call. Director Hudson.
Here.
Director Jones.
Here.
Director Walsh.
Here.
Director Taugis.
Here.
And I am here. That's 5 out of 5.
And we're recording, right?
We are.
And consideration of the agenda. Anybody have any comments, questions, or concerns?
I did make a request to expand the manager's talking points at the end a little bit,
Okay,
but that doesn't change the agenda.
can I get a motion?
Well, I'll move to approve the agenda.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Aye.
Approval of minutes.
We wipe down the table if you want to take it.
I would move to approve the minutes as presented.
So it's the 9/11 and the 9/15 special minutes, so any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gene? Yeah. So yes.
Aye.
Okay, next is public comment. We're gonna give anyone that would like to speak, 3 minutes to speak. And anything anyone wants to talk about regarding PAWSD, you are welcome to address us.
I would like to.
Sure. What's your name?
Linda Lee, 40 Cleat Court. A couple of years ago, I had contacted both Walmart and PAWSD concerning the water that is always on the east side of the entrance into the parking lot. And I did have several conversations, and at that time, both Walmart and PAWSD indicated that there was a water leak in their irrigation system. And that is what was creating the huge holes that you kind of get lost in, especially if someone is going the other direction. And the comment from Walmart was that they didn't care. They would pay for the difference in the water. And here it is, a few years later, the problem is still there. I don't think it's changed. And presently they are redoing their landscaping in the little islands that go along the main entrance area. And it looks like they're putting in some kind of a drip system. And I'm wondering whether or not there's been any communication with PAWSD to address that situation of the leaking when we're concerned over water loss and we're presently on water restrictions.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, nothing about it, we can certainly talk to them and see if we can help them fix it.
Well, no, this is a leak that's on their pipe.
Yeah, it's on there, yeah, so it's on their
So
wall
then-
side.
if anything, we're gonna motivate them to do that, I would think maybe going through a month or 6 weeks. Where they're paying a real premium for that water might, but maybe it doesn't, when when you're talking about that kind of, those kind of pockets, but.
It's also a hazard for safe passage into their business. I
Oh,
know
and
the
they're
other way
free
now.
kids, right, and then, well, we used to have.
But if I turn off in the winter time, I'm
Right,
right.
yeah.
I think the issue runs into, which obviously we hear you, and legitimate concern. The issue is we don't monitor water to that level. We're not, I don't think we're allowed to water monitor to that level. We can tell them what their bill is, but we can't really demand anything from them when it's their line, just the same as if someone has a leak in their main line, but says I can't afford to dig it up, $10,000, I'll spend that over the next 10 years with you. I don't think we necessarily have right to do that. And when it comes to their parking lot, 100% agree with you. The main thing gonna be that they're gonna hold an insurance or something like that, that if somebody drives through and ruins their, whatever, that they're gonna have to go fight with Walmart and see it. It is unfortunate, and we definitely wanna stand with you as community members, but I think as a PAWSD board and as PAWSD, I think we're very limited in what we can do within the legalities of what we're, held to standard of, just so.
You're aware of it.
So,
Yeah, we'll certainly, go talk to them. Yeah, but a letter writing campaign to the paper may do a lot to guilt them into it, and,
Good idea.
probably, I don't know. It'll work better than.
You might be better than Justin.
Our ability to compel them to repair the leak may not be successful because it's such a large corporation. That might just get passed along from desk to desk, but definitely a.
Good neighbor campaign.
Mhm.
Well, and you point out the real safety issue, while it is an issue for axles, is somebody. Moving into the other lane to avoid that. And then an accident occurring, so it's not.
That happens all the time.
I remember when City Market had that one, I actually was there when a little Fiat or something went in, and I saw 3 guys trying to push it out because it was literally couldn't go. You're just oh, that's what happens when you drive into a truck car.
Yeah, I know, and with the potholes, it's definitely an issue. And I know the county is trying to put pressure on different businesses and stuff, city market stuff to try to get things done. And there's just not a lot of legal mechanisms that we have, unfortunately, but I have your number and I'd be happy to assist you in a little campaign and try to get that solved. So,
Okay, thank you.
anybody on the Zoom?
Well, I hear that.
You'd like me to, I'm looking at the account right now for Walmart, and drop counter continuously notifies them multiple times throughout the month to let them know that they have this ongoing continuous usage. And we've gotten some responses, and their responses are that irrigation is running, and they're aware. But they are being notified of the continuous usage pretty consistently.
We have no
Thank
other
you.
questions. I'd like to need a motion to go out of public comment, or do we just continue? Okay. And so consideration of the 2020 drought management plan, voluntary drought stage. Be back in voluntary. We'd like to start.
Yes, I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay, so here's the spreadsheet I used to trim, so I looked at today, here's where we're at today. And that puts us in voluntary, we've been in voluntary now we bounced between voluntary and stage 1 for the last 3 weeks, that been on the day. But stage 1 and voluntary has no tier increases. And suppose it's gonna rain like hell in the next couple days, and we're gonna get, we've requested from both the state and 4 Mile Creek, if we can start getting this voted to see if that's right now, because 4 Mile, we haven't gotten a response back yet, but we can. But worst case, we'll get the water flowing back into Hasher the 31st, that's when irrigation season starts, then we move to the head of the line, so we're only 3 weeks away from what's gonna happen when we get anyway, so I see no reason not to go out of our drought stage at this point.
So out of voluntary?
Well, we can go back to voluntary, because that's where we're at, I would go to voluntary, the district manager's allowed to go in and out of voluntary, so. But on the 31st, I would move out of voluntary, because water goes back on, but we could, based on what the drought, where our, are at right now, voluntary is what we should be in.
We should be in
Yeah,
voluntary.
yeah.
Okay.
As dictated by the
As
draft.
dictated by the.
And as a practicality, is that our experience this year that voluntary and advisory has minimal, minimus effects, and then when money is charged, it's dramatic.
Yeah, it's a big change, yes, water use went down substantially when they cut into the fee, but until then, but I think Lake's in good shape. Decent shape, people all try to live along prior to this year, I think, but it's in decent shape. So I see, and like I said, it's been in balance between voluntary and stage 1 for the last 3 weeks, so I think we're pretty safe.
Now, the water treatment plant operators, it was interesting, they saw, and Andy can probably speak to this better than I can, but they saw a dramatic decrease in water demand once the bills went out.
Yeah, as soon as the bills.
The drought management plan worked as it was designed. Good.
And Justin's, working on establishing another committee to look at the drought management plan in 2026.
Yeah, so is that on the list or we want to talk about that now?
It's
Sort
not-
of the,
Yeah, so the drought management plan that we had approved in 2021, I think when it was approved, it states in there in 2026 to revisit it. And so this is the first time we went to a stage 2 on that plan, and we learned that. Like I said, the plan worked the way it was designed, but I think there's some tweaks we can do. And so I would recommend at the first of the year, to develop another committee, just like we did last time. The last committee, for you guys that weren't here, there was 8 people on the committee, included myself. I think Glenn was on it. We had somebody from the San Juan Water Conservancy District, and then we had a couple.
Yeah, Al Pfister, Al was on.
Yeah, I was on from San Juan, and then we had a couple community members,
Mary Jo.
both, just residents and business owners, and we put it together, and I think it was, I'd like to start another
Josh Kurz.
start another committee, same committee, make it ask for the same ones, or just get another committee and kind of and go over those tweaks, and I think there's some things we can do to make it a little bit better, but it worked as it was designed, and it worked pretty well.
And I think having different board members on it than were on it originally brings like a fresh perspective.
I was actually gonna recommend Glenn.
I was gonna recommend BJ for this one.
I'm thinking Glenn.
Well, we can do 2, but.
I think we should start that,
Yeah.
I want to make that decision now.
The one thing is, we were picking numbers, like the different stages, how much water demand would be affected. And now we have, well, eventually, when you crunch them, you'll have real numbers, that, you're hoping for 10% from voluntary. Maybe you didn't see that.
Yeah.
And you're hoping for 15% from just the alternate watering. You didn't see that. But then you see, and 2, you see a big effect.
Yeah,
So-
we'll see that, we'll look at those numbers and move forward with. Cool.
Be great.
We're not even, setting that up right now.
Yeah.
Maybe reach out to people who want it at first.
And
Well, Josh is a great
Oh, yeah.
critic, not critic, but great, really,
Well, I think everybody on that committee did,
Yeah.
outstanding. Everybody's motivated, and everybody was giving input and. And I think it showed in the product, but I think we do have a good.
If Linda makes donuts and pizza, then I will, join the committee.
any more discussion? Do we have a motion?
You eat dinner.
I'll move that we move from drought stage 1 to the voluntary drought stage.
Second.
Any more discussion? Any public comment?
What did you get, Riley?
You hearing us still, Gene?
Jean's having lunch.
Hearing no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. We are in voluntary drought stage. Consideration of running iron ranch and mining and reclamation on running iron ranch. Who would like to start off on that one?
I'm gonna share it again.
Justin's on it today.
So I've been going out to the ranch, because the concerns of what's going on out there, with the, were they continuing to mine, were they continuing to sell to others besides us, which they weren't supposed to do? What's happened in the past, I can't swear to, but I can say where they're at now. There's about 25, what it was, about 2,500 yards of material out there. That's all earmarked for us or PCL, who's our contractor at Snowball. There was a couple hundred yards of unfinished rock, which we did take. We're building a boat ramp at Stevens and we're using that rock, so he delivered to us to that, so I believe that's all gone. And so we're taking the small, 2,500 may seem like a lot of gravel, but it's not, so we're gonna use that. Most of it will be used at PCL for the Snowball plant, whatever's not, we'll take care and we'll have for, so it's pretty much done. They are in reclamation. There's no equipment out there at all except for earth movers. Earlier this week, they removed the last screen they had and the last conveyor belt. So that's all they have is bulldozers and front end loaders. This whole area is pretty much covered in topsoil. They had a little bit of work to do up on this, what they call a high wall up there. And I believe they've been working on that this week. This whole area, this kind of outline here, is all done. They got some work to do in this area. This is where there's the part of the problem here is that's where that 2,500 yards is at, so we got to get that out of there. But other than that, they've done quite a bit. I'll go back out again Monday and send out another report of what I see. But they are clearly moving forward. I talked to Andy today. They have purchased all the seed for this, and they're planning on getting that out this month or next month at the latest. They want to get it down before the snow falls, so they are seeding. Last Friday, I went out there with, Chris, I can't remember his last name, from the state, and we did an inspection of the whole thing. So they have an area that they're allowed to be in, and we went out there, and remember, they started this 35 years ago, but we found most of the stakes along this perimeter and verified that they're well within their area. A little harder finding these ones. Chris had on his cell phone some map, and he was able to go around there. It appeared that in their grading at this area right here, they went over their allotted area a little bit. I mean, by feet, not by yards. This is a very steep area. And even Chris believed that was just a grading error, not an actual mine right outside there. But what the state's gonna do about that, I don't know. That's up to the state. I didn't see it as a real big issue, but they are reclaiming this whole area. Like their plan is to have this seeded by this year, and then they're basically done. They'll have to verify over the next 3 years that the vegetation is coming in, and if it doesn't come in, they'll have to reseed, I guess. They are responsible for that. Their existing bond is $107,000. Based on what Chris looked at, they're gonna verify that that bond is sufficient. If not, they could raise or lower that bond based on what they think they're at. And that's about it. I didn't see any. I got a call yesterday from San Juan that believes they were crushing rock. So I ran out there. They have no equipment out there, and a rock crusher is not something you can hide. So and there was no material to crush. So I think they are moving forward with getting their reclamation done. I think they're very close. Thank goodness. So, and like I said, I'll go out again Monday and I'll send. So I sent out this report that I only sent it to Bill and Alex, but do you guys all want what I see when I go out there? I just kind of say what I see. And I talk to Andy and say, what are you doing this week? And he tells me and I jot it down. So that's where it's at.
It's so good to hear this.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. It's between you and the subcommittee.
Any questions on that?
For what it's worth, I do have a couple of customers that live up in that Long Hill area, and talking to them recently, they have not heard crushing taking place. And I saw the AM trucks, delivering gravel and stuff, and I did call the county just out of curiosity and said, hey, where is all the gravel coming from the roads? And there is none coming from Weber. So,
And I also checked with CDOT, Weber, so A&M, Andrew Weber's company is a subcontractor to Clyde, the company doing this. And so they are dumping gravel there. I got to CDOT and they're getting the gravel from Four Corners. Andy's company's picking it up and delivering, but it comes from Four Corners gravel, so that we see anything there as well. One thing I would recommend, if anybody's gonna go out there, just to let them know first, it is an active construction site. And there is some big heavy equipment. When I was out there last time, Chuck Ream was out from San Juan, was out there, and they actually drove across this, which didn't make Andy very happy. And we're just sitting out there. I mean, they got a bunch of guys with a bunch of heavy equipment and it's hard to see a car in that, so you really wanna let him know so he can let his guys know, kind of keep an eye out for you, because if you run into a front end loader with a 5-yard bucket, you will lose.
so are we taking any action on anything here today?
There was some discussion regarding cameras.
Oh,
Did
yes,
you still want us to pursue cameras?
we need cameras out there for about $1,000.
I would suggest that based on that report that we just got, that we cancel the request to put cameras up. That's my suggestion. Do you want a motion?
No, I just got either spend $1,000 or not. They're looking at this.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm excited to hear that. I obviously know that there was just unknowns. And so to hear that they're actually like really close, it seems like they're satisfactory to the state. You know, all these.
And I'll continue to go out there every meeting.
there are other issues too, but cameras could help, you know. Putting there some now unoccupied, well, very large unoccupied structures there that could turn into something very, unpleasant.
Yeah.
So.
There are hazards out there.
I mean, from that standpoint, if you did want to, one just kind of at the front would be fine, right? Personally.
Yeah, well, that's all. We were talking about just kind of game cameras, so somebody has to go out there and monitor that. We'd go out there and grab the card, it'd be substantially more for you, but. Cellular or satellite lines that's making money for all the time, so. Much more expensive.
I mean, I'm fine with bills, but I'm also here in Glen, I'm also fine if they want to do a game camp, just because I think the urgency level probably goes down. But if we still want to make it happen, then something where, you know, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine to do that. I think a game camp might be good, like you said, even once it's fully reclamated, that we just at least know are people coming and going, but I'm perfectly fine with that.
House.
Hmm?
Or on house.
Yeah, either way, just keep it in mind.
What does Glenn, what does Gene think?
He thinks that tastes good.
Do you have any thoughts, Gene, on that?
You are muted.
I think he waved goodbye, is what he did.
I don't know.
I think it should narrate the videos or something.
I think it's just something we keep in mind as the.
Yeah, I think.
There you go, Gene.
Okay, I guess my only thought is, I thought I read that we also requested specific records of what gravel had been sold to date, to which we were owed some royalties. Have we received that, or has that changed?
So we're looking into how much we bought in the last 3 years. We're unable to determine, according to Weber's, they haven't sold anybody else. So, and I haven't found any smoking gun that they have, so we don't have that.
And royalties was on a lease that they never signed.
Right. I was gonna say, I thought we had, I think we had discussed that a lot, but I thought we had determined that was a path we didn't want to go down. I didn't think that it was very conducive to us, so.
To be honest, I drive by there a lot. There's activity going on out there. There are people out there that are working. There's trucks, there's stuff going on. I'm not so much worried about squatters or anything like that.
Not yet.
Well, it's once the winter hits, you know, and the snow starts falling and they're not out there anymore. Cause I'm assuming they're not gonna plow that all winter in order to do reclamation or.
No, once it snows,
And
the
they're
best thing
done.
to do is keep off it.
So, maybe at that point, it might be a good idea to have a game camera get checked once a week, you know?
Well, the issue is depending on where you put it. If you put it in front, that's legit. Put it up near the house. We don't wanna plow up there, so they can go get it once a week. Correct, I would assume.
You don't have any snowshoers?
You heard it.
I snowshoe.
Exercise.
Why do you think they're gonna?
I'd suggest you bring this up in our next meeting.
Exactly, as we move forward, I think the direction right now though is just keep going.
Do we need any more discussion on this issue? Gene, anybody?
Just clarification, I don't think I heard everything, but, if I did hear it, I think I heard that, we just simply don't have access to the records, and don't expect to be able to get access. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I don't think we need a motion on anything here, okay? So, consideration of district manager position. Who would like to start that conversation?
Gene, would you like to start?
I'll chime in, but, go ahead and somebody else start.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll start just by saying it was, appreciated all the work that the subcommittee put in. And finding two solid candidates. My personal preference is for Andy Connor. Because I just think his depth of experience and his actual kind of embeddedness in the district is really important. I think transplanting to Pagosa is difficult. But I do think, you know, Mr. Cottingham was very impressive. But largely, I can't speak to either of the engineering or the real practical engineering talents of both men. I can't decide between the two because as I've often said, I'm an engineering idiot. But I do see many reasons organizationally why I think Andy is the best candidate right now for policy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, as far as I think that Andy has the experience. It seems that he has the, viability within the current other employees. They seem to support that. One thing I'd like to see us consider, and I'm not even saying it becomes an option, but in view of the future, I don't know what the viability of giving Dylan a shot at what Andy does now, if he truly wants to move here, would be, so that maybe we get both on, with the hopes that maybe he would bump up to that position if he fulfilled that position well. I still definitely see benefits to what Dylan has, and I think that I would hate to see us potentially miss an opportunity to potentially get both home, but I definitely think Andy, when it comes to Pagosa Springs and taking over Justin's position, is definitely probably our clear choice, even though Dylan, I was very impressed. I really liked the way he conducted himself in the interviews and everything like that. And again, nothing but impressed there, but like I said, I would like to see us potentially try and bring him on in some capacity other than district manager, if possible.
If possible, and it were to work out, I think, yeah, I'm gonna agree with what you two said, that, I think the time and the place and the conditions that we're in right now as a district, I think that Andy's the best suited to lead this organization going forward. With that being said, Dylan was excellent, is excellent. I mean, that he manages the engineering for a really large water district. It's impressive what he's done. And it's unfortunate we have to pick one, but we do have to pick one, and, my leanings are towards Andy. So. You got any comments, Bill?
I agree with what's been said.
What about you, Gene?
Yeah, I think we're making a good choice. Andy is,
Tomorrow we gotta go down south.
his experience, I think, speaks volumes, and I think he's gonna be a great, addition, and,
Okay, we're going back that way like an hour.
fully support that.
And then we have to be there. Reservation.
Well,
So I'll make a motion that we enter into negotiations with Andy Connor and see if we can come to an agreement on salary and so forth.
second. Any more discussion? Any comment from the public?
I appreciate your consideration, directors, thank you.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
now could I make pursuant to that, and then the second motion, that we nominate
I,
Famer, the negotiator for the board, and
I'll accept
working
that.
up a contract with Andy.
I'll accept that.
Andy Connor.
I'll second that motion.
Any more discussion? Any public comment on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you, I
Connor.
appreciate it.
Manager's talking points.
I got a few. Uh-oh, okay, Dutton Ranch, I met with Dutton Ranch today at 2 o'clock, met with their attorney, the owner, the ranch manager, and they have a consultant they have a consultant that was on there too, and we talked about the pipeline, they seem extremely interested. What we ended with was for them to give me a list of what they want out of this. You know, likely, some volume of water out of Stevens. And, they're gonna want all of it, and we're gonna want to give them very little, so there'll probably be some negotiations. And eventually come up with a memorandum of understanding or some type of agreement with them. And then with that, we can start looking for grants to move forward with this. Renee's gonna look into possibly a pre-engineering grant to maybe get a little bit, some stuff started. But that's where we're at with that. It was a very productive meeting, I thought. They seem very interested.
And their requested volumes could be on a timeline that is, either advantageous or disadvantageous to us, if we use.
Typically what they want is a late season
Right.
irrigation, so they're probably gonna want in late August, September to have some volume that they can, so it would pump the water back up. And so one of the options we had was to abandon the ditch and just put them in the pipeline. I don't know if our pipeline's big enough for that or not. That's the negative with that is they and us both receive a fair amount of water as snow melts and it falls in that ditch and it comes to us. If we abandon that ditch, we lose that. Benefit about abandoned ditch for them is they don't have to maintain it anymore. That's very expensive. Benefit both of us is both the Forest Service and 4 Mile and Mesa want that ditch gone. Being a couple reasons. One is that ditch is blown out before and then subsequently it caused 4 Mile and Mesa to blow out, so they're not happy with that. And if that ditch went away, they would get that water instead. So so that's also a negotiation that we could have with those two entities. Part of this pipeline is gonna be on the Forest Service property, and so there's gonna be a special use permit with them, and we negotiate with the federal government and stuff, that's always,
And Dutton Ranch understands that.
oh, yeah. So if they don't, their attorney certainly did. So it was good, so I think we're moving forward, there's a long ways to go. The water that's in Stevens is ours and it's for M&I, municipal industrial use. Whether we can even offer that to them, that's something, they may have to go to court, we may have to do a lease agreement with them, that's all, there's a lot of things that have to be worked out. I think we can too, and that's what, and their attorney agreed that the lease agreement was probably the easiest way to do it. But we gotta work all that stuff out. So we're moving forward with that, but, it was productive, and the first step is to make sure we're both on the same page and come to an agreement. And I think we're gonna have a lot stronger position at going after grades if we're both working on this together.
Yeah. And we could work in certain drought season restrictions on
Yeah.
season water. Yes.
Certainly.
Awesome, thank you for doing that.
So there's that, Warmock, I think I mentioned that, Art has been in contact with both the state and West Lewis about, getting this come to CFS. Early on, we haven't heard back yet, but hopefully that is coming. Worst case, 31st, we will get water, and it's flowing pretty good right now.
What water are we gonna get? 31st at 1 CFS?
On the 31st, we can get whatever's there,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
So if we're still pushing 7,
if we can get. There's some stuff we have to do with the Forest Service, but we can be quite bad.
okay,
We've been in pretty good shape also. I'll start filling the lake again. The next thing I have is a Stare. A Stare is a satellite company, the leak detection company. I'm gonna share my screen again. So, this is it, right, Andy?
Yes, it is.
So, this is what they came up with. They flew the satellites over, they flew them over it on January, and then again in September. And came up with where they see leaks, and somehow they're,
Holy mackerel.
yeah, the magic of what they see is, they can even tell if it's chlorinated. That's how they can tell that it's a leak, not just a thing. So they'll be out here
Next Monday.
next Monday, and they're gonna start ground testing some of these, verify that they're actually a leak.
Right now, these are possible, so these are non-surfacing. They are looking for moisture content. So once.
so they're seeing the
Wow.
grass is discolored.
No, they can tell,
No,
they can
no,
actually
they
go in the
can
ground,
see
they can see. They can see the water in the ground somehow.
Okay, that's pretty
And
good.
they can tell that it's chlorinated water, not groundwater. So that's what they're advertising. We're gonna truth this to see if it
Wow.
actually works.
I wanna see if it works.
Yeah.
On Monday, we have 2 crews coming out. They'll be out for 2 weeks, 2 technicians, and they will start correlating lines. So at one of these overlapping marks on the map, they will go ahead and hook up to hydrants, water meters, valves in the system, and listen to that piping. And they will work in and try to figure out where it's spraying. They will mark it. Our guys will go in behind them and GPS those marks. Depending on what they hear, if it's substantial enough for us to call in emergency locates and actually dig it, we will. But we will gather this data and then start prioritizing. I want to see it work first. You can tell me it works.
So we're not gonna start digging up asphalted roads first.
And yeah, we're gonna focus on, we have 14 sites that overlap from one satellite image in September and the satellite image in January. So we'll start at those, and I will start at areas where there's no asphalt or concrete. I want these holes to be as cheap as possible to start with. Once we can verify if this works or not, then we will start moving forward on it. But as I said in my interview, right now, I'm working on the data collection. Once I have the data, then I can get a plan and start getting this system repaired.
Awesome. So could we compare to see some of the accuracy, like between January and September? Are there leaks that they discovered that we fixed, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
correlate any of that,
that's
or-
why I wanna see it work. I have found leaks in the system that they did not.
Yeah.
And when we approached them about that, they said it depends on the time of day and the time of year, what the satellite is seeing. They can get a reflection back because it's all through mirrors, so we will see.
Okay.
Don't get excited until I open up these holes and we find water spraying, then we can start talking.
Yeah, if this works, it would be fantastic.
But this is where we have to
So at
start.
this point.
What was our
It's
investment?
a good starting point, and I like the fact that you're trying to attack areas that are more cost effective for
Yes,
any exploration station.
yeah, it's very expensive to dig in the road.
Is there one over by Walmart?
There actually is.
That's not what that would be.
Higher than the lead if I.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay. Lake Pagosa, so Lake Pagosa, we lowered the repair lift stations 6, 7, and 12. Those are all, 7's totally done, 6 is totally done. 12 is done, we got some landscaping to do, we started adding water back to Lake Pagosa on Monday. We're putting about 4 CFS in it, so it's slowly coming up, and Stevens is slowly going down. I think they did a wonderful job on those lift stations, and I don't think we're gonna have to deal with it again for another 50 or 60 years.
Excellent.
At least that's my hope. Snowball, almost even hate to say this, we started putting water in the system from the new plant on Sunday. And it's been running 24/7 since Monday. And it's producing very high quality water. The old plant it's still there, but it's no longer functioning. It's been cut up and pieced out. And it will be down probably next week. It'll probably be totally down next week.
Yes, next Monday and Tuesday, we will remove the roof. On Wednesday, we will remove the filter trains. And then right after those trains are out, we will demo the building.
It's coming down. Awesome, cool. That's where
Rest
that's
in
at.
peace.
Is there a significant disposal cost for that building?
Oh, yeah, the cost of removing that building is gonna be in the range of 150,000 or
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I moved is it going to the landfill? Is there a significant?
So
expense?
we end up making an agreement with, a couple, Edgemont, which is a water facility outside of Durango. And they provided us with several people, and they came in and they took a lot of the old parts, the old valves and all the stuff. We took out some stuff, anything we didn't want, they got, and they took stuff that I don't know why they took it, but they did. And so everything else that's not there, some of the heavy metal stuff will go to reclamation, but the rest will go to the landfill.
Okay, and there'll be a charge for that.
And there'll be a charge for that, yeah.
Okay.
So we were able to pull the transformers and the PLCs, a lot of the instrumentation, the expensive electrical equipment we kept in-house. They took valve actuators and solenoids and old fuses and buses. They have a system very similar to that system. Their system was built in, I believe it was 1982. And a lot of those parts, you have to get those on eBay. So it was a really good compromise to go ahead and trade labor. They had 3 techs come out with a mini X, a dump truck, trailer, chop saws, and assist our team in getting this plant down. We removed everything in that facility in 4 days.
Wow. Wow.
And we also, 2 weeks ago, we ended up having it with the asbestos guys, but there's asbestos, of course, and all that had to remove it, so we spent about $30,000 on asbestos remediation, but that's all gone as well, so. Any questions on Snowball? Last one is Bill wanted me, that's Pagosa West. Pagosa West is the development that's gonna go in next to the hospital and extend all the way out pretty much to Walmart. There's some questions on what PAWSD is doing to delay it. They did come to us and kind of give an idea of what they wanted to do. We provided them with what the steps are. Basically, they need to figure out what they want to do. We then run a model and we determine whether what upgrades to our infrastructure needs to do, give them the water they want. We're obligated to provide them water because they are in the district boundaries. But they are obligated to pay for whatever cost it takes to get the water to them. They have not responded with the models yet. I'm not sure if they know exactly what, the only thing I've heard is they want to do it in 3 phases, and the first phase is gonna have some apartments and a gas station. That's probably not enough information to run a model. So there's not a whole lot that we can do until they come to us and tell us what they want and have us proceed forward with the model.
And they're in the wastewater district.
And wastewater as well right now.
Would they be looking at the same sort of,
Yes.
depending on the punch list that Timberline was given, they'll be given something
Mhm.
relative to the size.
Yeah, it's basically, they do a repair for three EUs, that's kind of how it broke down. And we've been running that across the board,
Right.
even small developments that have 3 or, that if it's less than 3, they still gotta fix one thing. So we've been very consistent with that since that started.
But that could be it.
So I
Yeah,
asked Justin to to bring this up. I don't know if you guys got to see the map that they're proposing to present to the town. So I've been to a lot of town meetings when subdivisions were proposed. And this map that they presented to us does not show anything other than 3 acres are for the apartments and 2 acres for the gas station and 100 acres of blank map
To be determined.
to be determined. It's my feeling that this is inappropriate for them even to send us this map. Because we can't determine anything from a blank map. I mean, there's no way we can do a model. And in fact, my position is the town the town doesn't even have the right to give us this job of looking at the map. Because it has no information on it. And I would like a really strong response from PAWSD that this is inappropriate for you to approach us with this kind of information.
The problem is, and we've told them this, if they come in, if they want to run a model, they'd still have to give us a grant, but if they want to run a model just on the 80, the apartment and the gas station, and let's say that model says you need to upsize this line to 8" to 10" or whatever, and they do that, then 2 years later, they do phase 2 and 3 and say, right, now you go to 10, but they gotta do it all over again. So it really behooves them to know exactly what they want through all phases and then run the whole model. The problem is if they come out and say that they wanna run a model, and that's another problem, is they come out and say they wanna run a model for 80 EUs, and we run it that way, then when it's all said and done, they end up building 160, they run the model again. If they say 160 and it's only 140, they're still covered. So really, we'll do what they want us to do, because they'll pay for it. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to start this modeling until they have a pretty good idea what they want to do and round up. But that's their call, it's not really our call, we want to do it constantly.
A lot of the costs involved are irrespective of whether it's 8" or 10" or 12" drive.
Right.
So it really is in their interest
Get it right.
to get it right
First time,
the first time.
And there's, the modeling costs go up a little bit, but not even much, what we charge for modeling is, we have a fee per EU, but it caps at 100, and then, our engineer has a fee. So once they get over 100, really, the fee doesn't really change much, so there's really no reason to say that it's the fees for modeling, so it's what the issue is, so. But we'll do what they haven't told us to do anything. We didn't send emails off saying, what do you guys wanna do? And they don't even respond back saying, we're thinking they don't respond back at all, so there's not a whole lot we can do. So what we're gonna do to respond was just, again, which we've done before, is just, here's the steps you have to do to. What the town says is that they said they sent an application to us, they filled out an application, but we responded, well, we don't have an application. So I'm not sure what they mean by.
They didn't fill out, they never returned the modeling request. We sent them.
Well, they could approach us, right, I mean, and say, what's the existing capacity in the existing wastewater line, so we can get a sense of what we can build without having. We'll still be obligated on to the punch list of, but, at what point are we gonna be obligated to upgrade this wastewater line to replace it?
Yeah, but that would require us to run a model.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that would be.
And we would do that.
That would be a good first step for them, then they know they have a.
And that's how the model works, so you run the model and it says and you start negotiating, okay, you have to. You have to do a gazillion things, okay, they can start rationing down and say, okay, here's what we can afford to do.
Yeah.
And that's happened in the past, so, but at this point here, they haven't even given this direction at all, they kind of came in there and said, you wanna do this, they're not quite sure what. So I can't say that PAWSD is causing any delays. At this point on that project.
So my suggestion to the board is we could respond and say, here's the steps that you must go through to get the modeling done. Or we could respond and say, this was totally inappropriate for you to even send this map to us because it doesn't give us any information other than, I mean, they're trying to get the whole 100 acres approved on the 28th of October with no drawing of what is happening on that on that 100 acres other than 4 units of apartments and 1 gas station. And for the town to approach us and say, give us your comments on this. Our comments could be, we can't give you any comments, or our comments could be, this is inappropriate. This is inappropriate for the town to be considering this application with a blank map. And so,
I agree with what you're saying. I just don't see that it benefits us in any way to. We just tell them this is what you have to do. This is the rules. You gotta play by the rules. Everyone has to play by the rules. You know, call us when you're ready. I mean,
Bill, I couldn't agree with you more from a personal standpoint.
me as well.
I guess the thing I have is from what Justin's saying. We have nothing in our repertoire to really say, you can't just do that first, and we'll give you the EUs. What we can tell them is, hey, if you do that, and then you come back and you wanna develop 80 more acres later, you're gonna have to re-dig up what we just dug up and redo it all, because it's gonna need to be bigger. So I think we can incentivize them to do a better plan from the standpoint of this is gonna cost you a lot more. But from a PAWSD customer standpoint, I think it's dangerous for us to say like, hey, really make our opinion known, because we represent 14,000 whatever properties or people or whatever. And I just don't think it's our job from a political standpoint to take a stance of pro or anti that. If they wanna do that and pay us to do the tap fees for that, and we know that if they do the 80 acres, that they're gonna have to rip all that up and redo it, we just get paid twice. So from the standpoint of PAWSD.
Well, we don't get paid.
we don't get paid.
They would, because they're responsible for doing
Yeah,
it.
but yes, exactly, they would have to, so I'm just saying, like, I agree with you 100%, I just think it's hard to take a stance like that. Now, as far as personally going to the next meeting, or whenever they have it, or when they present it, and stand with you 100%. As a PAWSD board member, I think that's ridiculous, but as a board member also, that's just my personal opinion. So I just, and that's my opinion for the board.
I agree with BJ on that. I think personally, I agree with you. But as a board, I don't think we need to get involved in that. We just need to tell them that there's a process to do this. You have to follow the process, and when you have some real plans, some real drawings, some real estimates, come to it with us and we'll get it done.
So are you comfortable with saying just what Alex just said? When you have a real plan, come back to us. Are you comfortable saying that?
That is a real plan. I think it's not a realistic real plan for how much they're purchasing and what they're.
Well, do they have an EU number on it? Do they have counts or any? Okay, so it's not a real plan.
I agree though.
We can't do it off of
Like
this.
castigating them
Okay.
is probably not
Do we have the
worthwhile, but giving them feedback and saying,
That was just.
for that portion that's been at least somewhat impressionistically given, we need more detailed plans, we need fixture counts, we need in order to give, and for the rest of the development, we simply can't render an opinion because we have no idea what you're intending, you know, basically what you want.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, Gene.
For clarification or maybe to educate me, but my understanding of the process is that this is a sketch plan going to the permitting agency, which is the town of Pagosa. And typically, I think in the past anyway, sketch plans are not considered nor approved until acceptance letters are received by the town, like from the fire department, water and sand, any other entities that need to chime in. I don't believe this is this developer's first rodeo. I believe they've been told everything you're discussing right now already. And maybe they are just choosing not to do it or don't. If we don't.
Gene, we're getting about 40% of that.
And now we don't get.
And now we're getting 0.
Okay, give me a minute here. Okay, stand by a second.
I can hear your voice, but your mouth isn't moving.
Okay, can the town approve this sketch plan without an acceptance letter from us?
Well, what we'll provide them is a list of things they have to do, and we'll say that we will provide them water and sewer, but they're responsible to pay for getting the water and sewer there. But they're in the district, so we will provide them water and sewer.
I understand that. Can the town of Pagosa approve the sketch plan without us approving what they've given us? In other words, if all we got is a 2-acre gas station and a couple acres of condos, then that's incomplete. We just don't provide an acceptance letter, and I'm assuming the town can't approve the sketch plan until they get that letter from us. Is that how it's supposed to work?
Well, I don't know how the town works, I don't know, but we will provide them an acceptance letter. We will provide them water, but they're responsible to get it there, and right now, we don't know what it would take to get it there, because we don't have enough, for 2 reasons, we don't have enough information, and 2, they haven't requested it from us.
But that's not an acceptance letter. That's a, hey, need more info, come back later.
It's a will serve letter.
Right.
They are, it's verification that they are within the boundaries of the district, and they are within the boundaries of the district, so we're obligated to provide them water and sewer.
But
I think that's important to note that we are obligated to provide them water and sewer. Because there are a lot of people in the community that are upset about this project, and I have personally been asked, hey, please don't allow this to happen. We don't have that option. They are within the district, as long as they are complying with the rules and regulations that we set forward. We do have to allow them to build, so I think that needs to be said.
A little bit of history, you're right,
Emphasized.
you're right, I agree with you. A little bit of history, they came in April to the planning commission.
Yes, sir.
With this map, and it showed where every single parcel was going to be placed. Where all the roads were, where all the commercial plots were, it showed buildings, it showed, utilities, I mean, they came with a full map. Showing exactly what they were planning to build, and the planning commission at the town said, come back when you have a better plan. So this is coming back with a better plan, which is to show nothing.
I understand your frustration.
Of what, so this is like, to me, this is obscene that they're even going to the town with this map. And I agree that we have to serve them.
Yep.
I agree. But we don't have to say, we're being bothered. Our staff is being bothered to make a comment on something that's ridiculous.
And I think
And
because
that's-
it's ridiculous, we
that's-
just don't respond.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous.
That's right.
They have their elected officials.
And that's the letter I would like to send is, we cannot respond to this. We cannot comment on this map because it's ridiculous. That's what I would.
How about a letter that says, based on the information submitted, we cannot approve service to this subdivision?
But that's not factual, because we have to provide service. to the
Based
city.
on what we've been given. We cannot
Well,
comment.
no, it's not fact, it is factual. We will serve them if they follow the rules. If they don't follow the rules, we can't serve them.
Well, how many availabilities are they paying for that piece of property?
One per property, I don't know if that's multiple properties or not, so.
I mean, or even you can make a motion or anything. I mean, this is the staff that they can handle that. I mean, we can't move it until we know what the years.
What is your request of us? I mean, it's information.
Yeah, I'm not requesting. What our plan was to send back a letter and say, here's what our requirements are.
Perfect.
And you're totally responsible for but we can't guarantee, we can't.
Yeah, no, I
That's
like,
all we can say. You're in the
I
district,
think that's perfect.
you're within the district, and here's the steps you have to do, and kind of leave it at that. Because, yeah, I can't.
I agree with that because, guys, again, as much as it is something that I think is a community-wide issue, as much as it is something that I'm sure each and every single one of us have more than passionate views about, I think that as PAWSD, we need to stick with what Justin's saying, facts. I don't wanna breach the line of feelings or even give them the implication that we're trying to make this easier or harder. You provided something insufficient. Here's what you need to provide if you want service, the answer.
Can we include the word insufficient in the letter?
We can say something, certainly there's not sufficient information for us to provide, to determine
So
what
make
your
it-
water use needs to be, what your why it needs to be, what your infrastructure needs to be.
Is everybody comfortable with that word, insufficient?
Well.
Yeah, I think
his
insufficient
word
is
His
better.
word. His word, again. Insufficient, not sufficient, they both mean the exact same thing. So I would say we give Justin
I have confidence. in
direction
that.
to just keep moving forward with the understanding that we want to somehow provide. There's not enough information for us to make a decision at this point.
I'm okay with that.
For the amount of water they're in the corridor, we're gonna serve them at some point,
Yeah.
whether it's 1 EU.
Yep.
Or 500, not that they're responsible for getting the infrastructure.
Well, if they had been paying, I mean, say 167, availability fees, then they'd be in.
I believe it's 3.
Right, so they'd be in an extremely strong position to say,
Yeah.
listen, but since they've only been paying 3, and they may ultimately be looking at, 597 more to use, so we may, I know our obligation to serve, I mean, it is conditioned on their ability to pay whatever that extraordinary cost might be, so, yeah, so. I don't think we're in a weak position here.
Yeah,
I also think it's
we're
responsible.
obligated to pay them, give them 3 EUs.
Right.
That's what they've been paying, that's what we're obligated to do. We will give them 3 E, but, well, they're paying mill levies on 3 EUs,
Right.
so that's what they want more, they gotta pay for those, they gotta pay for the infrastructure to get that water there.
But as far as going out of our way to make that a publicly recognized response or, I'm anti that.
Yeah,
And what's been discussed here, I'm fine, I'm just saying anybody has, access to our records and stuff, but I'm just saying as far as going out of our way to make sure that's a published letter of our response, paper has access to or something now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to.
I got a quick question.
I don't even know if you look into the development.
1 second, Gene.
Like, the town is into, and county, any number of development agreements with that are very kind of impressionistic. But like mountain crossings. You build a nuclear power plant out of mountain, but, I don't think PAWS ever gave them more than a guarantee that if you have 1 EU of water, and then anything beyond that. We'll have to give us specific plans, and then we'll give you the bill,
or we'll tell you what you need to do to get the water there.
Yeah.
That 2-inch straw is not gonna cut it.
Whatever we do provide, I believe will go in the town support packet.
Oh,
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind with whatever. direction.
As long as that's normal, I'm perfectly fine. I just didn't want to go out of our way.
Gene had a comment. Gene, go ahead.
I guess I was under the impression when they originally came to the district, we gave them kind of the information we're talking about right now. You are in the district, we're obligated, you need this type of information before we go any further. Don't they
Gene, we can't
already
hear
have
you.
that information?
Gene, we're not able to understand you well enough to decipher that.
Okay, let me get. How about now?
Yeah,
How about now, Alex?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Is this better, Alex? Okay. I thought when they originally came to the district, staff gave them basically the same information we're talking about right now. Yes, you're in the district. We will serve you if you meet, all of our requirements. So what we're talking about today is basically a reiteration of what they already know, isn't it?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I turned it off, the burner that burned through the coffee. I like this.
Do we have any more
coffee.
comments? Justin?
That's the end of my talking point.
Okay, I'm fine.
So Phil, do you want me to put in there, this is what we sent you on April 2nd. We're sending this again, which is the list of things they have to do. based on the insufficiency of your plans? Is that, I can't make an approval of your sketch plan? We weren't planning to approve the.
Oh, I know you weren't.
Okay.
I know you weren't. I just was wondering how strong we can make the language. And some of the board doesn't want it as strong as I want it.
Well, no, I mean, you can make it very strong, but you can make it strong from the approach of giving them a very strong list of things they need to do for us to consider it. Rather than say, you're insulting us by even.
Yeah, I don't want our staff to get thrown into the middle of that.
That's constructive, right?
Questions, Mike? Ask a question?
Yes.
I'm just learning a little bit more about this project and, from a, resident's standpoint, when this project is fully built out, what kind of water consumption is going to be necessary to facilitate this built out project? And if we are supposed to give them, we're in compliance to give them water and sewer, where is the water gonna come from?
So, one thing so far, we don't know, because we don't know how much water it's gonna be. So we'll run once they know what they're doing, we have to run models, and that'll determine how much that is. And whatever we need to make sure they have the water, they have to pay for it. So if it's bigger pipes or more water rights or whatever it's gonna be, they'll have to
I
provide
know,
that.
but you still have to have the water to go through the pipe.
Yeah, but they may have to provide some.
Yeah, so if we don't have, if we have insufficient water in our district to take care of this subdivision that they want to include, they would be responsible to get additional water rights
Okay.
and fund that.
Okay.
So,
Okay, that's understandable.
I personally, even in the model that we were given, that he's talking about in the beginning, I don't think that that's a concern.
It's unlikely, but.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, obviously, we're gonna do all our due diligence, but I'm just saying, compared to what we service, it's not like this is even. I would be surprised if it increases us even a fifth of, like 1% or 2. I don't think it's gonna be huge. Because you gotta realize again, what we service already is so big. Yes, for Pagosa, this is a massive development they're talking about. However, you already do have 2 car washes in town that are proposing a car wash. You do have City Market, which is a bigger building than most they're proposing for their commercial stuff. We already have several gas stations, which is another thing. We just put in a 80 unit complex right next to Walmart that already exists. That's pretty much, so I'm just saying what they're proposing from a standpoint of logistics, it isn't as big water impact wise as it is community impact, in my opinion.
That's surprising.
great question though, thank you. Any other business brought before the board?
No.
Jane, anything? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I take that as a yes?
Yay. Anyone you got